Good morning. Welcome to Spiral of Time. I am Z, your time reader. Though I don't know if I should call myself time reader or timekeeper. But either way, I'm here today with another message. This one was put onto my heart yesterday while I was driving between Canada and headed back to the United States where I'm from. I took a road trip to Canada and I'm currently I'm in the process of moving. So I guess on a little exploration, which is why my environment behind me is going to be different for a while as I'm sharing these first few messages, because like I said, I'm on the move right now, and I think that that's very relevant to the message that I'm actually here to share with you all today. So today's message is about the timeline changes that are currently occurring right now. We're at a point in time where there are a lot of energetic shifts that are happening, that are taking place more on the within the subconscious realms, and are preparing to come into the physical. So as we are preparing for these timeline shifts to occur, and this is something that I actually touched on in my last video, which was don't trash up your recycles, and it had to do with just removing things from your life that no longer serve you and making sure that you have the space for these new changes, which I'm about to speak on now, for them to come to pass. So let us begin here. So number one, as I was saying, we have a lot of energetic shifts that are currently happening right now. So what's really happening with time is that we are stepping into new, updated, upgraded timelines that are supporting the vision of self that we saw more so towards the beginning of the year. And the part of the reason that I wanted to get on here and speak on these timeline shifts is because it's easy to get lost in what you don't see and feel as though maybe what you think is happening isn't actually happening. But I'm here to let you know that what is happening is happening, and you really just have one job right now, and that job is to make sure that you're being intentional about what you're telling yourself, that you're being intentional in how you are preparing for this energy to come into your life. You want to make sure that your body is prepared, that your mind is prepared, that you are moving in tune with your heart, and you just want to ensure that you're not getting lost in the things that are trying to lead you against what you know is happening. You don't want to get caught up in the distractions of people. You don't want to do too much compromising right now for anyone, and you want to make sure that you're putting yourself at the center of your journey, because if you allow for too many things to come in while this energy is coming in, because think about new energy as, in a way, it's a bit unstable. And I say that it's unstable because the subconscious realm hasn't necessarily met the physical realm. So there has to be a physical movement that takes place in order for us to bridge everything into the material world. So we want our idea of self, our identity, for lack of a better term, right now, to be the picture of our true spiritual nature, because ultimately we're talking about spiritual beings who are coming into the conscious awareness that they are guiding lights here on earth. And we're talking about the people who are, all the videos that are talking about waking up right now on YouTube and whatnot, this awakening that's happening is the timeline shift. And there are huge changes that are occurring. And you know, part of the reason that I even got on here and wanted to say any of this from this message is because I am currently in the middle of my own timeline shifts. And it took me a long while to actually recognize that I was at this point. I have been at this point many times before, and I have gotten lost so many times because I couldn't see what was happening. I didn't understand what was happening to me, and I had no connection to my own spiritual nature. And having that kind of disconnection in my life, within my mind, in my heart, made it hard for me to hold on to this energy. So I kept losing it. It almost kept slipping from my fingers. And I was allowing so many people into my life, so many things into my mind. I was behaving in ways that were completely against who I am, and just partaking in situations that just weren't in alignment with me. And I was doing things that were really against spiritual law. And at the time, I didn't understand spiritual law, but it didn't change the fact that I was going to be then affected by what I was doing, and that I was going to have to basically reap the consequences of all my actions. So it's because that I've been at this point many times before, and that I recognize how unstable that this point in time is in our journeys. I want to get on here and really just kind of be a guiding light and let you know that I don't want any of us to mess this up for ourselves. I think that it is so important that we all work together in community, as a community, to make sure that we're all kind of making it through this time and making it through to our timelines. You know, there are some of us who are going to be further along than others. And now that I have this knowledge, I recognize that I have the responsibility of sharing what it is I know, sharing what not to do, what you should be doing, and just helping you to really just keep yourself on track. Because ultimately, sometimes we do need a little bit of encouragement to keep us on track, to keep us in alignment so that we aren't getting lost. And for me, part of the getting lost is really just kind of getting lost in my own insecurities that I have of myself. Like even today, I was debating whether I wanted to get on camera and show this message, just because I wasn't 100% feeling like myself within my body. But I'm recognizing, one, that you know, that those are really just arbitrary thoughts that are coming to mind, and it's not really the reality of what I actually am, because what I actually am is the energy that's happening right now. You know, I may not be there 100% physically. It may not all be in the physical. I may not have all the things that I'm meant to have yet, but it doesn't change the fact that this energy is coming in. And as someone who now understands the energy, someone who sees the energy in full clarity, in full picture, I recognize that in order for me to keep in alignment, I have to be intentional about how I'm utilizing this energy. I have to be intentional about the words that I'm saying to myself. Every day, I make sure that I keep myself in alignment with my vision. So for me, that's saying the affirmations, whether out loud, whether in my head, whether it's through meditation, it's when I'm in the shower, you know, whatever the case may be. I try to take the time to ensure that the things that I'm intentionally speaking to myself are the things that match what is going on right now. So that's all part of the preparation work that has to be done. And as I had mentioned in the other video about removing what no longer serves you, this energy needs space to come in. Because if there is clutter in our mind, if there is clutter in our physical environment, if there's just clutter all around us, there's no way for the energy to navigate those spaces. So we have to be the navigation. at the end of the day, you got to kind of think about it as you driving your own boat, and you are the navigator of this boat. So you have to be able to read the map. You have to be able to recognize which turns you're supposed to make, recognize when your mind is wandering off into the ethers, when you are being removed from your body, and you have to be able to pull yourself back into your body. Because the only way that this energy is going to come into our physical realities is if we are grounded in our bodies. And being grounded in our bodies is the only way that we can stay in connection to the timeline of the seasons that are actually happening. Because if not, we're gonna get caught up in the rat race, in the wars that are all happening around us, and the people that are arguing about things that don't even matter, that are keeping your mind in states of paranoia, in states of distrust, in states of fear, because you can't seem to get past that kind of that war zone. You almost have to get out of the spiritual war zone and come back into the spiritual reality. Because when you almost, okay, so when it comes to spiritual warfare, I'm not saying that spiritual warfare is not real, is not a thing that is affecting us, and that is not, I'm not saying that nobody's being attacked or anything, because at the end of the day, like, there are a lot of attacks that are happening, and they're coming from all over. But you can remove yourself from the attacks. It's very, very possible for you to almost be like anti-magic. If you've ever watched Black Clover, it's an anime, then you would kind of understand what I'm saying. The dude who uses anti-magic, his name is Asta in the show, and basically, like, anything that tries to hit his sword, like, it bounces back. So you want to kind of be like that in a way, where their magic doesn't touch you, it doesn't affect you, where you just, it's just like, oh, it's like, okay, you tried that, moving on, like, next, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be in that mindset, and you almost have to be able to laugh at them, because I mean, half of the stuff that's going on is laughable. Like, these people are trying to do the same things that they've been doing every single time. It has taken me so long, and sometimes I feel like, I'm like, girl, you've been so slow. Like, hello, like, everything that's happening, it always happens over and over and over again. They use the same kind of magic. They're the same kind of attacks that are happening, the same thoughts that are coming into your head all the time to try to prevent you from moving forward in your life. Like, it's all the same fears. Everything is like cycled in this pattern. And it's like, once you're able to kind of see those patterns, to see those cycles of what is trying to come towards you, you don't even open the door for it anymore. You're not letting it into your space. You're not letting it into your fields. You're like, oh no, I'm just gonna move away from that. Like, you know how to completely, like, nope, that's not even allowed over here. You can't even touch over here. And you have to really have that kind of mindset. You have to have that kind of strength, and that takes a strong mind. So it takes you being extremely confident in who you are, not letting your insecurities get to you, not letting what's happening in your physical get to you, whether that be you're having struggles with your health, whether that be you're not divinely completely in tune with your beauty, whether you're struggling to make ends meet with your finances and stuff, but you recognize that you have ideas that are coming into fruition, that you are working on constantly, that you're being consistent and you're putting in the effort. You have to recognize that the physical will eventually meet up to the energy. And a good way to understand this is that there are two major systems in astrology. We have sidereal astrology and we have tropical astrology. And these astrologies are approximately 23 degrees apart. So tropical astrology moves with the equinox. So it's in a way that it's set. It's set that Aries season always starts at the exact same time every year. March 20th is the start of Aries season, right? Is it March 20th? Yeah, it's March 20th. And everything moves exactly with the equinox in tropical astrology. In sidereal astrology, we're looking more towards the stars. We're looking at the zodiac belt way up in the sky. And that's more of the energetic frequencies. And that is a whole different timeline. So it's not set to the equinox, and it changes a bit every single year because it shows those subtle changes that are kind of happening within our universe. And the fact that those are almost like two different methods of telling time in a sense, because it's giving us the natural order and divine order. Natural order being tropical, and then the divine order being the sidereal system. So when we're looking to those two systems, we can almost see that tropical seasons start before sidereal seasons. So when it comes to the zodiac, we'll be in tropical Leo before Leo actually reaches sidereal. So when you think about it, the energy almost kind of has to meet up. And there are these strange in-between phases where you can almost feel the things coming in, but they're not quite there yet. So when you're looking to yourself, when you're looking to your timeline shifts, and you're looking to the changes that are happening in your life, you want to almost use that as an example. I feel like it's a good example for me because it helps to keep my mind in recognition that, okay, the energies do have to meet the physical. The energy has to meet the physical, and the energy takes time to meet the physical. So say you're working out. You just started working out. You haven't noticed any progress yet, but 3 months later, you start seeing how things have progressed. That's how the energy works. It's the same kind of way. It requires the same kind of patience. It requires the same kind of preparations. So preparing yourself for changes is preparing your mind, preparing your physical environment. It's getting things organized in terms of your vision, in terms of whatever your blueprint is, what it is that you're working on, what it is that you're trying to bring into reality, and the changes that you are trying to make in your life. You have to give the space for these changes to happen. They're going to happen slowly. They're going to happen not in your time. They're going to happen in God's time, because ultimately we are not in control of time. We are not in control of the seasons. I mean, we can try to make ourselves control the weather, and we can try to do all these things, but when we're really talking about the natural alignments, when we're really talking about what's actually going on, those things are out of our control. And those things being out of our control really go to show that we are not the guiding force in life. We are not the all supreme. We are not the God that is making everything happen in the universe. We are creations from the Creator, and we have to almost remember our place. Remember and remember that we're each playing a part, that we are a piece of energy, and the energy does not belong to us, but we're almost borrowing it in a sense. And energy requires something to flow through. So you can't force it to come in. You can't be stagnant and think that it's gonna come in. You have to be the action, so that you have to be the action that allows the energy to move through. So you have to be the system that's in working order. You have to, I'm over here like half shuffling these oracle cards because I thought that I was going to share the tarot and whatnot. And as I'm over here shuffling, card number 32, Spirit of the South, just came out. And this is the energy of fire. Fire is action. It is passion. Fire is our connection to our heart. It is, excuse me, my throat. I feel like anytime the messages are like really getting loud within me, my throat closes up. It's almost like I'm being blocked from trying to say what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say what I have to say anyway, okay? So we have Spirit of the South. Spirit of the South, card number 32, is all about the circulation. It's all about our circulation. When we keep things in circulation, when we keep things, our system in functioning order, and the best way that you can do that, the best system that you can keep in functioning order is your body. It is your health. Your health is going to lead you into your divine timeline. So when you take control of your health, you take control of your life. You take control, you take the wheel, you take that navigation, and you become the principle of movement. You become the masculine force. Your health is your divine masculine energy. And the way in which you do your health would be more, I would say, in connection to your divine feminine, as in maybe the practices that represent your health. But your health, the action of health, keeping things in circulation, keeping your system in order, keeping your body functioning within its highest timeline, making sure that you have proper nutrition, making sure that you're moving your body, that you're getting exercise, that you're drinking water, that you have enough fiber in your diet, making sure that you're cleaning your space, making sure that like you're doing all these different things for each portion of your life. So we're talking about the mind, the body, and the soul. All of these have to be purified, and they're purified through fire. So we're taking the energy of fire to almost burn everything that does not serve us. We will not burn in the fire. I'm over here now thinking about Game of Thrones and Khaleesi. You know, she didn't burn from fire. Okay? Think about, I mean, she went crazy in the end, but we're not even talking about that. We're just talking about the fact that you're not gonna burn from the fire. You're not gonna burn from your own fires. Your fires, they can't burn you. They can't burn you. It's not possible. It's a spiritual thing that happens. It's a very, very spiritual thing that happens. And this spiritual thing that happens through our action. It happens through our movement. It happens through the changes that we bridge into our lives. So those changes are the intentions that we have in our mind. There are the words that we say to ourselves. There are the I am statements, the truisms that we put into our mind until they seep into our subconscious so deeply that they can't be uprooted by anybody. You need to be rooted in your body, in yourself so deeply that no one can affect you, that nothing has any kind of say on who you are, that nothing can alter your mind from the path that it's on, that nothing can be a distraction to you, that nothing affects you, that you are completely unaffected. Your system is working in perfect order. Spend your time, your energy, ensuring that your system is functioning in proper order. And that will get you through to the next phase of your life. It'll move you into your next cycle. It'll jump you into your next timeline. And it'll happen, and one day you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh my gosh, look at everything around me. Look at everything within me. You'll be so content with yourself, so content with your life, so just at ease and at joy. You'll have all this peace and this newfound power, this passion within you. You'll be able to create with ease, and it'll just become so natural because it'll be your natural action. But in order to make something your natural action, you have to first be intentional about those actions. You have to create those actions as habits. I think they say it takes, what does it take, like 60 or 90 days to create a habit. So these next 60 days or 90 days or whatever, spend that time doing all your maintenance work. Because if you're at this point now, I'm assuming that if you're watching this video that you're probably about where I am right now in this journey, which is almost like a little bit of an in-between phase where you see what's happening. You may not necessarily like have everything you're looking for, but you're moving in that direction. And if you are moving in that direction, then you're moving with me. You're moving into these timelines with me. You know, you're a part of my soul tribe, my soul family, because we're in the same energies, and you know, all those energies are circulating between us. So if all of us, no matter how far apart we are, no matter if we know each other or not, if all of us are doing our own parts, essentially we're all supporting each other. We're all supporting each other on an energetic level, which just creates this huge collective of energy that allows us to keep our systems, our ecosystems in alignment. And we're talking about these energetic ecosystems that have to be in order, that require all of us to do our parts in little ways. And you know, each of us make changes and make shifts and purify energy in different ways. So continue on about your path. Continue on about what it is that you know that you need to do right now. Keep your system maintained. And if you're at a point where you have a lot of things to clear and a lot of blockages to remove, a lot of trash to take out, don't feel discouraged. I've been where you are, and you'll get to where you gotta go. Just take your time, don't rush it, and don't compare your journey to anybody else's journey, because we're all different. We all have just our own things that are kind of happening and whatnot. So don't allow that to, you know, create any kind of insecurities or any kind of fears or anything within you. Just stay focused on what it is you're doing. Take your concerns, take your fears, take them to God, and talk to your tarot cards, talk to your oracle cards, talk before you go to sleep, talk in your dreams. Like, allow for those conversations, those words to come in. Allow for these things to come to pass. Allow yourself to really feel what's going on. If you're not in your body, if you're still numbing yourself, and by numbing yourself, you could be numbing yourself in so many different ways. You could be numbing yourself by binging TV shows. And again, speaking from experience, as someone who was a binge watcher for a long time, you can binge numbing. Binging is a device of numbing, the same way that substances are a way of numbing, the same way that ignoring our physical environment is a way of numbing, the same way that not taking care of our health is a numbing factor. You need to be able to feel into what's happening. You need to be able to connect to that sensation, because that sensation is the fire. That's the knowledge. That's your cells speaking to you. That's the purification coming through. That's the energy cleansing itself. That's how you know when things are happening. When you feel those sensations, those vibrations that are coming through your body, when you feel those movements, like, try to pay attention to where those movements are coming from. You have to take the time to be more in stillness. And stillness doesn't just mean like you just sitting in stillness. Stillness means that your mind is in stillness, because when your mind is in stillness, you can actually take account of the thoughts that are coming, and you can file them accordingly. You know where to put them. And recognizing how things are categorized in your mind allows for you to filter out what's happening. So, you know, the body has a filtration system, which, you know, our kidneys are a huge part of. I know I'm saying this kind of weirdly, but if you begin to kind of learn the anatomy of the body, you'll recognize how it connects to the energy. And, you know, Chinese medicine Their system that they have created is an amazing system that really allows you to connect to the energetic body as well as the anatomy of the physical body. And it creates the correlation between those two things that allow you to create a true picture of health, which is where my energy is currently focused right now. I'm very focused on getting my health back in order. I have my mind, the health of my mind finally, which took me a few years to come into, to really bring into this existence. So now that I have that, it's almost like I can really work on my body. I can actually see what's going on. I can see the seer on the bottom of the deck. Seer on the bottom of the deck, okay? The oracle messages are speaking to us today. They're speaking to us this morning. I can actually see like why my hair wasn't growing. I can see why my skin was breaking out. I can see the imbalances in my physical body, and I recognize ways in which I have to remove them, how I need to stretch, how I need to get stronger. And it's like, I'm doing all those things now because I recognize that's the only way that the energy is going to really come to me. It can only come to me when your body is functioning how it's meant to function. So keep yourself grounded, keep yourself on your path. Prepare for these major timeline shifts that are happening. Allow for God to guide you. Allow for you to really be your own guide through God. Take yourself into conversation with God. Take yourself into your study. Take yourself into your journal. You know, whatever it is that connects you to God, take yourself into that thing and focus on it with almost singular, focus on it with singular action. Like almost be singular minded on that thing. Keep your focus. And the longer that you can keep your focus, the more that you learn to focus and the better that you get at focusing, the better your life gets. So that was really all I had to say. I guess I don't need any tarot cards today. We did get 2 oracle messages. Card number 32, Fire of the South. Spirit of the South, which is fire. And then card number 27, which is Seer, which is us really being able to just see what's going on in the energies. And it's our sight. It's having sight that goes beyond our physical eyes, because our physical eyes will try to deceive us from what's actually happening. But there are internal changes that are currently occurring. That's almost like a tongue twister. There are energies that are coming into internal alignment right now, and this is the season of preparing for everything to kind of come into the physical. So, you know, you may not see your physical harvest this upcoming season, depending on where you are. That harvest may come into pass the following seasons, which would basically be the beginning of almost like the next cycle, because we're almost cycling through the seasons within the year. So once that time is passed, the energy changes into something else, and we then have that portion of our lives to focus on. And once we focus on those things, we'll recognize that when we come all the way back around to that season again, because you got to walk all the way around. It's not like you, because until you actually build that bridge between your spiritual and your material, you have to really keep doing those long walks. So if your walk is a little bit longer right now, if you happen to, you know, if your map is telling you that you're here, but you got to get all the way over here, but there's so much in between that you got to go down and up, around, or whatever the case may be, then that's the path that you have to walk right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're still going to get there. You're going to get there in perfect timing. You're going to get there in divine time. Okay? Like, everything is going to happen always in perfect order. So don't ever feel like that you're behind schedule. Don't feel like that somebody is ahead of you, because there is nobody ahead of you. There is no competition. You're not competing with anybody. The only person that you should be worried about competing with is yourself, is figuring out how you can make yourself better and figuring out how you always can be better. But that better does not need to be compared to somebody else's better, because again, all walks are all going to be different. So with that being said, I hope that you all have a beautiful, amazing, blessed day. I hope that you all find whatever it is that you're looking for, that you stay connected to God, and I wish you all the best on your journeys and on these shifts as you enter into your new timelines. So, au revoir. I may not say that ever again. But look, y'all have a good day, okay? Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm Z, your time, I think I'm gonna call myself timekeeper. I'm Z, your timekeeper. And I'm not like keeping your time, I'm keeping the time. So when I say like your timekeeper, I'm really just like, I'm a vessel for God, okay? My life is dedicated to God. This is what I do. This is who I am. This will always be who I am. And nothing can ever remove me or make me afraid of being on this path. I know what I walk. I walk confidently in my path with God, and nothing will ever change that ever again. I will never let anything come in between my relationship with God, and neither should you.